Knowing time might be short, the nation began to mobilize. Around a small nucleus of trained professionals, a mighty fighting force had to be built. A force that would use combat skills that were new and untried in battle so far as American troops were concerned. The enemy had shown the effectiveness of such modern skills all too clearly in Europe. By December of 1941, all time for preparation had run out. With what there was left, of what she had ready, America fought back. For some, whose stubborn resistance had bought priceless time for their country, the months ahead, in captivity, would sorely test their fortitude, their moral stamina, and their faith in the ultimate victory of their free nation. History would record that they had that fortitude, that stamina and faith, and that their faith was justified. History would record, too, how their comrades in arms devised and put into practice techniques of assault that had not been in the book, until the necessities of a global purpose called forth the needed answers. The massed amphibious assault, first perfected in the Pacific and in Italy, would be put to use later in the greatest landing ever attempted in the history of man. D-Day, the 6th of June, 1944. The task which had been set for them came perilously close to being impossible. Somehow, they accomplished it. They established a massive beachhead and turned their faces and their weapons inward upon the enemy's heartland. Sometimes slowly, foot by foot. Sometimes swiftly, mile on mile, they pressed forward, with the total force of America's now hugely expanded productive capacity behind them. Finally, it became manifest that nothing was going to stop them. There came a time at last when the inevitability of the war's outcome became clear, even to the determined and resourceful enemy. America's industrial might, her capacity for production, were still growing. The enemy's was growing less with every passing day. Now the long and bitter time of fighting in Europe was over, and all attention turned to the Pacific. Intensified effort from the air reflected our wish to avoid the cruelly costly prospect of a land invasion of Japan. A new era began the morning a single bomber, instead of the usual hundreds, delivered an ultimatum. On board the battleship Missouri, General Douglas MacArthur accepted the surrender. World War II was at an end. Hundreds of thousands came home. A great many others did not. And on far beaches lay rusting reminders of flame and bitter violence. Time and the sea would erase them, but the nation's debt to the men who brought them there would remain.